What is going on out there, Real Violin? We are back with another episode. Gonna do something kind of summer themed. We're covering bugs tonight.
Insects.
Bugs, insects, creepy crawlies, and all sorts of things like that. With our main movie being Infested. I am Chris, joined by
Kelly. I'm Kelly. Hello.
How are you?
If you don't already know, yeah. The
What's going
tower
on,
of the hour. Not much, man. Not much. Fucking watching movies, trying to do some shit, get my garden ready. Still trying to cut my grass. Still having lawnmower issues.
Still ever return my gas can so I can cut my grass.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you were here the other night. All right. Anyway, but yeah, other than that, fucking working. The usual.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. No, I was going to say what you were about to say.
How do you know what I was about to say?
I think you were about to mention that we had a movie night on the back porch, right?
Oh, no, but yeah, we did do that. We watched Insect, aka Blue Monkey, which I'll be talking about later. We did run off to Ann Arbor for a day. That was kind of fun. Bought some records, had some food, wandered around a bit. I'm just getting over being sick. I had that lung infection, so it's been a pretty shitty week.
Everyone's getting sick.
Everyone's getting sick. I've spent the last couple days at the hospital visiting a friend of mine who's been in there. That's been not a lot of fun. I actually just got back from that a few minutes ago. So she's been going through it, so that has been kind of lame. Aside from that, a lot of the same shit, a lot of movie watching. We're getting geared up. We're going to be in Virginia doing a show with the POR stunt team. So Pod will not be with us for that one, but Kelly and I will be down there along with our boy Mikey. So if you're in the Virginia area, you want to get silly, come see us with the POR stunt team. We got Banana Slamma playing, which is a grind band that dresses like gorillas and whips bananas at people. Why wouldn't I have something dumb and weird like that?
That's exciting.
Tell them the name of the show.
The name of the show is Stunting on Them. So yeah, we're gonna go down there stunting on them. POR stunt team are some crazy motherfuckers. It's gonna probably be the weirdest show of the year. We always kind of try to have one like kind of goofball show, and this is it for this year. Last year was Blackout. This year's Stunting on Them. So
Whiteout.
Or Whiteout. Yeah, Whiteout. They're all starting to blur together. My brain and wrestling, holy shit. Also, want to send some love out to Jerem. He was able to join us last week, but unfortunately had to put his buddy down today. His pit bull Joey, which I was lucky enough to meet. He was a great dog. So much love to Jerem and Joey. We're thinking about you.
Yeah, man, for sure. That's always the worst.
Yeah, Joey was a rescue. He was a sweet dog, big old beautiful pit bull. But let's talk movies, Kelly.
Yeah, let's talk bugs.
Yeah, we're going to be talking bugs all night.
I got 2 movies about bioengineered cockroaches, and I've got 2 movies about spiders. Well, our main one being a spider movie. But yeah,
why don't you go ahead and take one while I pull my letterbox up?
All right. The first one I'm going to talk about, all right, out of the 2 bioengineered cockroach movies that I watched, they both have, female scientists. Like, a crazy, like, not crazy. The one's not crazy. The other one is. There's like an evil scientist in the one movie and then a good scientist in the other one. So I'm going to talk about the one with the good scientist first. This is 1997's Mimic, directed by Guillermo del Toro. I'm sorry if I fuck that name up. I always do. It's a hard one for me to say. But yeah, this one came out in 1997, starring Mira Sorvino. Basically, it takes place in New York City. There's New York City has a cockroach problem, and they're trying to solve the cockroach problem in New York City by bioengineering these cockroaches, where they'll their secretions will basically kill the other cockroaches, and they're also engineered to die after one, like one mating site, or I think as soon as they secrete or something like that, they're supposed to die right after that. Well, somehow they fucking evolved quicker than they should because they were fucking with, their biochemistry and shit. And then these things start taking over the sewers in New York City. Um, so when she starts realizing it, there's these kids. I guess this is what you did before cell phones and shit. Run around in the sewers, find bugs, and try to sell them to scientists.
You've never done any bug catching when you were a kid? I refuse to believe you ever ran around Reno at least catching crayfish or some shit.
Oh yeah, dude, I was a bug kid all day. I wasn't scared of shit. I was always coming up to my mom, but I would never I just thought it was funny. Like that was their gig. Like they'd go fucking run around the sewers, find bugs, and sell them to the scientists. Like, dude, we can make a 20 off that one. Which it worked for them, I guess. Whatever, kids, go do it. But anyway, they sell her one of the bugs that she bioengineered, and she realizes how fucking big this thing is, and she's like, that shit's just a baby. So then she realizes there's a bigger fucking problem down there. There's also this kid in the movie. He like mimics the sound of shoes by playing the spoons. I honestly thought he would have a much bigger role in this movie than he did. Personally, by the way they introduced him, you're like, oh, there, that kid's onto something. But I don't know, he wasn't as big of a role as it ended up being. But I don't know. This movie's really good. Basically, the thing about the mimic, though, I thought the kid had something to do with the mimic too. It's not. These things evolve into being able to mimic their prey. So I haven't seen this movie since I was little, so I had this feeling that it was going to get into like a body horror. It didn't, but kinda, not really, because these cockroaches end up mimicking their prey. They're basically mimicking humans. So you got like these humanoid fucking cockroaches running around killing people. I don't know. It's a pretty good movie, and with Del Toro directing it, like the whole thing has this real dark theme. A lot of it takes place down in the sewer. I gave it a 3.5. Personally.
Yeah, I've seen Mimic. That's definitely a favorite of mine. I'm glad you told me you were going to do that one because that was one I was going to watch because it was up on, I think they put on HBO Max or something.
Where did I watch it?
Or was it Tubi? It's on one of the streaming channels, and
it's on Paramount and it's on Prime.
Yeah, so it was one of the ones I was thinking about doing, and you got to it first, but it's a favorite of mine. I give it 3.5, 4. It's early
3.5, 4.
It's early Del Toro before he was famous, but it's also very good. He made another movie that would be a good bug movie to watch before this called Kronos. I should have done, but yeah, good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was definitely worth a rewatch, like something I haven't seen since fucking early 2000s or some shit, Yeah, good movie.
All right. The first one I'm going to talk about is 2009's Infestation. I watched this on Freevee, directed by Kyle Rankin. He didn't really make much else of note. Run, Hide, Fight, The Batter, Shaker, Height. He wrote and directed this, but he didn't really make much else. This one was pretty fun. This did not take any time to get to the bug mayhem. There was maybe one scene, very small scene, and then you're off to the races. But what you have is a schwarmy, unlikable dipshit office worker. He gets called into his boss's office to be fired. While he's in there, there's some weird ear-piercing noise that makes everyone pass out, and when he wakes up, everyone's in cocoons, including himself. And there's bugs just draining everybody, giant bugs. He gets out of his cocoon, pulls a couple of other people out of the cocoon, and then it's all survival from there. This one, for being like a no-budget movie, was really kind of swinging for the fences because, some of the other movies we're going to talk about later, they contain it to kind of one location to make it cheaper. This goes all through the city, into the suburbs, and they go into a hive at one point. This is full bore bug mayhem 5 minutes in. We're not talking about like a couple big bugs. We're talking they're every fucking where, and they're eating everybody. Everybody's all cocooned up. People are getting melted. There's flying bugs. There's ones that kind of look like beetles. I That's pretty much the variety. They pick people up, they drop them. It's kind of gory. This one was fun. There's a lot of gags where they explode the bugs and people just get hit with white bug slime. Ray Weiss comes in at the end. You gotta love Ray Weiss. No matter when he pops up, he plays like a grizzled army dad who's gonna kill all these bugs. He's definitely the high point of this. This thing tries to have a good sense of humor, and that's kind of where it falls flat. Like it's very serviceable as a horror movie, but the humor in it does not work like at all. And a lot of the characters are very unlikable, especially like the romance story. And then at one point, people start turning into spider humans. So they're like spider centaurs. They're like humans up top, spider legs on the bottom. I really like that. And they kind of had like a zombie thing going on with the people. That was pretty fun. All in all, this was like a fun little splattery, gooey, oozy movie. Like it's nothing to write home about, but if you want some good bug action, you could do a lot worse. The CGI actually looks really good. Like the bugs themselves all look good. Special effects all a hit. This is just like kind of a middle of the roader for me. Like it wasn't great, didn't knock my socks off, but it sure didn't suck. So I gave this thing 2.5. Infestation. I watched it on Freebie. You seen Infestation,
Yeah.
Kelly?
I don't think I have. I don't think I have seen this one.
I'd recommend it. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, let's check that out. Although I might take a break from bug movies for a little while after after this. Yeah, the next movie I'm going to talk about is my bioengineering bug movie or cockroach movie number 2. This one is The Nest, 1987. You can watch this one on Plex. This one takes place in a little island off in New England, kind of like a vacation island and shit. There's a bioengineer chemist out there, except this one's an asshole. This one just likes fucking with science just to fuck with science. She's kind of like an evil scientist sort of lady. Yeah, so she got kicked out of somewhere. You find out later in the movie for doing fucked up experiments, and you're like, oh great, that's the one doing shit on this island. Well, she's fucking with these cockroaches, and she does something where they basically just want to eat flesh, and eventually you find out in the third act.
Well, don't go ruining stuff.
Well, I mean, it's okay. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm completely ruining it though. But yeah, they basically, unlike the ones in Mimic, where they would mimic their prey, these ones end up becoming what they eat. So they'll like reanimate the bodies, and then end up being like these creatures. See, in the beginning, this the shitty scientist, she found a cat and she did this experiment on the cat, and I was really sad about that because I hate like animal shit in movies. This cat does come back later though in the best sort of way. I don't know, man. This one was a really fucking fun one. I enjoyed it a lot. It is directed by Terrence Winkles. I think
Winkles?
Is it Winkles? Is it fucking Winkles?
I hope so. Brought to you by
right there?
Terrence Winkles.
Terrence Winkless. He was a writer on The Howling, and he directed the Power Rangers series. He went on to direct that after this. But yeah, dude, this one was really fucking fun. The special effects in it were fucking practical effects, very good practical effects, especially when the bodies started becoming like reanimated. In the beginning, all you see is a bunch of cockroaches, and like this scientist is really she's really into it. Like there's a part where she just lets him bite him and she's just like, yes, yes, you know, like smiling. I don't know. I enjoyed this movie. There is one part where the girl's dad, like I just didn't get it. He runs into the bathroom where all the cockroaches is. It's just I don't know why he decided to just like do that. It was pointless. He's like, goodbye, and just like runs in there. I was like, why? I don't know. Anyway.
You wanted to go out like a G?
Yeah. It was funny. But yeah, The Nest, 1987. It's on Plex. I think it's worth a watch. I give it 3.5.
I have not seen this. I've almost watched it quite a few times, so I have not seen The Nest. So
you rated it on Letterboxd. You might have seen it. Yep. Because when
Maybe
I
I
went
have
and rated
watched
it, I was like, huh. It does seem like a you type of movie, you know?
Sometimes they
Especially
all blur together.
at the end. Yeah. It's a fun one.
Oh, you know
And
what? I did watch that one. I did like that one. Yeah.
yeah, it is
Yeah,
a
that one
fun
was
one.
good. That was a lot of fun. I watched that at your house, I think, while you're off doing shit.
Maybe. It was in my recently watched. That's why I thought we watched it when you're like,
Yeah, I
I was like,
watched it at your house while you're doing shit.
because I was like, are we talking about the nest? You're like, I didn't watch the nest. I was like, boom, I'm watching the nest.
Well, there you
Worth
go.
it. Yeah.
All right. The next one I'm going to talk about is 1915's Stung by Benny Diaz. This is not streaming anywhere that I'm seeing. I actually have a DVD of this that I pulled out and watched. Um, this one I think's kind of an underlooked gem. It's like if you want a bug romp, this is a good one. What you have is two caterers that are going to a very rich person's mansion. Well, it's more of a castle to cater some sort of party for them and their rich family. The patriarch being Lance Henriksen, so you get Lance Henriksen in that bad boy. But what happens is you come to find out he owns a pharmaceutical company, and what they specialize in is growth hormones for plants and stuff. Because when they're looking around the garden, all their plants and stuff are super huge. The rose bush is massive. Well, it comes to finds out the bugs that are feeding on the pollen get this growth hormone in them, and it causes all the wasps and bees to be about the size of a Doberman Pinscher. And then when they sting you, they implant another one of them in you, so these things are like exploding out of people. And a lot of times, like when they're floating around, they'll have like half a person just like kind of stuck on its head. Like all this like goopy stuff. The effects in this is actually really fucking good. It's shot really well. The only thing that sucks about it is like everyone in it's kind of an asshole, so everyone's like real unlikable. And Lance Henriksen's pretty wasted in it. He doesn't have many lines. He's just kind of hanging around, being a crotchety old man until he dies. But aside from that, this one's a lot of fun. It's real goopy, real gooey, a lot of body melts, a lot of giant insect action. They're popping out of like cows and shit in this movie. The only thing I would have liked more is if it wasn't just the bugs and stuff. If like giant worms would start popping out of the ground and like hedgehogs and shit. I thought that would have been pretty funny. But aside from that, it was really good. Give this one 3.5. Definitely check out Stung if you can find it from 2015. You seen it, Kelly?
I've almost watched it. I have almost watched it a couple times. It sounds like it's worth a watch. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So I think it's like one of those overlooked kind of gem movies if you want to turn your brain off, watch bugs fuck people up for a good hour and a half.
Anyway, what movie do I got? I got this one was probably the worst movie I watched out of all the ones I watched this week. This one is 2005's Camel Spiders.
Oh God.
Yeah. This was directed by Jim Wyhorski, the director of Chopping Mall. And it says presented by Roger Corman, which basically
It means he probably put some money into it.
Yeah.
Or he picked it up.
This one, pretty low budget. I read that it was a $500,000 budget. This one was basically like a sci-fi original. It didn't look as bad. It didn't look that bad for that budget, honestly. But the CGI did. The CGI was god awful. The acting was fucking awful. It was your basic setup. 2005, there was a lot of shit going down in Afghanistan. So, they kind of used that. Some soldiers coming back with one of the bodies. There was a spider attack in Afghanistan to the soldiers. It's supposed to be, the camel spiders over there, which this had like no actual like spider facts like at all. They were all made up shit. But yep. So they attack these soldiers over in Afghanistan, sending the bodies back. The spiders are in one of the caskets and escape into the desert in Arizona. So now you have a problem with these giant camel spiders just eating the fuck out of people. And you've got like a gang of people. There was like some teenagers in the cafe. There was a waitress. You have two scientists, some soldiers. So you got all these people, stuck from place to place trying to move around and fight these spiders. The fucking gore is terrible CGI. Just terrible CGI. Spiders are terrible CGI. Yeah, man, I gotta give it a two. I give it a two because I thought for their budget it was all right outside of the CGI. Not with the
Yeah.
acting. Very cliche.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you'd expect it to be. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is a sci-fi original. If
Yeah.
not, I did watch it on the Sci-Fi Channel when I was much younger. So I don't know if it was just original or one they picked up, but it feels like a sci-fi original. It looks like shit.
Yeah, definitely
The acting
feels like a
shit.
sci-fi. Mhm.
Everything about it's kind of shit, and not in a
Yep.
fun way.
No, not really. There's some really dumb shit. Not even fun dumb shit. You're just like, oh my god, how much longer is this movie? Sort of dumb shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time. It's not fun bad. It's just bad
No,
bad.
the nest was
Um,
fun. You know, infested was fun, but this one's not.
yeah. I mean, movies like this that have the little budget have to at least have the fun factor to keep you in it, or at
Hmm.
least like kind of punch above their weight, and it does neither. So I wouldn't recommend Camel Spider. So I give it 1.5.
I gave it a two. I've seen worse, so that's being, two.
Yeah, but like with what we watch, no matter what we've seen worse.
That's
That's not saying
that's
much,
true.
you know.
Yeah.
All right. For my last one, we're gonna talk about one we watched together at your place the other day. It's on Tubi under the name Insect, but it's more commonly known as Blue Monkey, even though there is no monkey in it. It is about a giant fucking insect. So I have no idea why they would call it Blue Monkey. But that's what it's most commonly known as. This was probably, aside from Infested, my favorite movie I watched this week. Um, it definitely had a great 80s vibe to it. It was shot really well, but what was really shocking about it was the lighting. These people lit the shit out of this movie. Like there was moving light sources in every single shot of this movie
Yes.
in the most like insane and impressive way. Like you could tell like whoever was doing the lighting was just planning meticulously out all these crazy shots because they're kind of once so the setup is you have a patient that comes in the hospital, a worm ends up coming out of the patient, gets loose in the hospital, turns into a giant bug, and then it's kind of eating everybody in the hospital. It's very much a lower budget ripoff of Alien, but in a hospital as opposed to space and with a bug instead of an alien. Um, but once it gets going, the government locks the building off, and there's like helicopters and sirens always going outside. So in every scene, there's just like sirens going by the windows and like helicopter beams floating by. Like in every scene, it's really
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
inspiring to see once you actually like start paying attention for it. Like I've never seen another movie kind of swing at that before the way this one does, and it definitely not be as successful at it as it was.
It definitely worked, man. Like after we noticed it, I was kind of like mesmerized by it. Like that's insane. Like every single scene had a moving light source, like
Some most of the
something,
time several.
Yeah, sometimes several. Yeah. It was very interesting.
And it all worked and didn't take away from it. And that's something that could have just easily ruined the movie. But aside from
Yeah.
that, the movie itself is fun. It's a bit of a slow burn, takes a little while to get going. But once it gets going, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a ripoff of Alien. The creature looks laughably cool. The acting's actually really good. A lot of fun, memorable characters. All in all, I really enjoyed Blue Monkey. Look it up as Insect though on Tubi if you want to watch it. It's not under Blue Monkey on Tubi; it's Insect. But yeah, definitely give that one a watch. I gave it 4. What you think,
Yeah.
Kelly? You watched it with
I'd give
me.
it a 4. I'd give it a 4. I thought that was a great movie. That's something I would actually buy if, I stumbled across it and used video store or something. But yeah, I enjoyed that quite thoroughly.
I'm
For
sure
sure.
Severin or one of those guys has a special edition of it. I think I've seen one before. Probably like Arrow
Mm,
or something.
yeah.
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 Yeah. You want to talk about a movie there, buddy? Before we get to Infested, you want to talk about one more? That was my last one. Yeah.
Nope. No, I had my three.
Oh, that
Actually,
was your three?
that was my three.
That was your three? All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and talk about our main movie then, Infested. You can watch that on Shudder.
And now for our feature presentation.
This is the new one on Shudder that they just added, although it came out last year in 2023. French movie. I thoroughly enjoyed this one personally.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one a lot too. This one was extremely impressive.
Yeah.
It definitely swung above its weight. One of the things I'll give it is that the spider effects never looked like CGI at any point in this movie, and there was a lot of fucking spiders. Like a lot. This one really lived up to that Infested name.
Yeah, man. Usually when you think horror spider movies, they're fucking overdone and cheesy and just like this one was not. I'm not even afraid of spiders, but last night before I went to bed, like I literally closed every window in the house, like, oh fuck a spider. And I was even thinking while I was watching it, if a fucking spider dropped down on me right now, I probably would have freaked the fuck out, dude. Like it made your skin crawl, you know? I haven't had a horror movie like actually make me like look around like that in a minute, and especially with like spiders. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, the way it was done was really fucking kind of cringy and yeah, it really gets under your skin the way that Arachnophobia did. But Arachnophobia actually used real spiders, which definitely lend to its credit. But this one, they're definitely CGI, but it does not look CGI at all.
Actually, I watched an interview. Actually, I think he said they used about 300 real spiders, but the rest were CGI. But there was a lot of spiders in the movie.
That must have been like in the beginning scenes before they started getting all gigantic.
Yeah, they were. They did use some real spiders, though. I could be wrong about that number. My memory is like a goldfish, but yeah, there were some real spiders. So maybe that's why. Maybe it was just so well done. But yeah, basically it follows what's his name?
Caleb.
Yep, Caleb. It follows Caleb. He's done some shady shit in his life to make money.
Not really. He's selling bootleg shoes. That's not
but in the past, they kind of
grand
built up
scheme
his
of
past
things,
a little.
selling bootleg shoes.
Yeah, and now but he's not doing the shit that he used to because you got that guy that's coming back like, what you got, dude? Later in the movie. But yeah, he's selling shoes now, and he's got a hobby where he loves insects. Like he collects very rare species of insects and like lizards and frogs and shit like that. Where did he acquire the spider from though? Because it started.
He has a black market guy. Like the spider he bought was illegal, and there's a guy. And these people actually exist out in the world that they will traffic and smuggle illegal bugs and animals that you're not supposed to have. And there's a black market for them. And he was just one of those guys that's like, this is a very rare species of spider, and the guy bought it.
Dude, from the opening scene of this movie, though, they show the guys over in like the Middle East being attacked by these things, and fucking like the one guy sees him bit and just straight pulls out the machete and chops his head off. Like, nope, not dealing with that, And you're like, oh shit, it totally sets the tone for the type of movie that this actually is.
Yeah, and like I was talking earlier about Infestation, where I was like, a lot of movies would contain something like this to a building to kind of keep the budget down. That's exactly what they did in this one, but it really works. The claustrophobia of the location and them like not being able to get out because they end up getting quarantined and the police lock it down. Really lends to a lot of the terror of this thing and really ratcheting up the anxiety-inducing situation they're in, especially, as the spiders more and more overtake the building and they can't even go through hallways without there being thousands of these things and spider webs everywhere and their friends just webbed to the walls and melting and shit. Like this was a really good one.
Yeah, the gore was good. Like it was intense throughout the whole movie. The acting was phenomenal. It is a subtitled movie. It is in French, but that didn't, the only time that ever affects me is if I'm super tired. But,
Yeah, if it's like late at night,
yeah.
reading a lot kind of gets me drowsy. Like if I'm
Mhm.
having trouble sleeping, I'll read for a little bit and
Yeah.
it'll usually knock me out. So as long as it's not super late night, I don't mind subtitles at all.
But yeah, man, this movie, I really enjoyed it. Like, all of the neighbors dying in there, it really built a sense between the characters too, you know, or
Yeah,
it
you
built
get a
up like
sense
their.
of the community and the camaraderie and like,
Hmm.
this is very much like an attack the block situation where you kind of just learn to know and love all the people in the building, but it's very much contained to said building. But instead of like attack the block where you had blue neon mouth aliens, this time you got giant fucking spiders.
Yeah, and they just seem to keep getting bigger and bigger. Like they just like start doubling in size and
Well,
shit.
every time you killed one, about 1 million babies came out of each one. So it just
Yep.
had like a hopeless feel to it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
This one was really good.
I didn't like the ending. I'm not going to talk exactly why, but I
Yeah.
think for what happened and why, I didn't like how it ended. I thought somebody should have got some come up and said didn't. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I do agree. It ended more abruptly than I wanted it to. I was like, oh, what? That's how they ended it? You know? Because throughout the
But
whole thing was real good though.
don't let that deter you. Like it's just like the
No,
last
no.
couple minutes.
Yeah.
All in all,
Yeah.
this thing's fucking gold mine of horror, and it really does get under your skin. I mean, it even if you don't have like arachnophobia, you'll kind of feel it by the end of the day. You'll just be like, I do not want to fuck with spiders for a while. Fuck this.
No. Yeah, man. I don't mind spiders. I don't, as long as they're not on me. But this made me like, fuck that. Fuck that. You know?
When she was telling me that she was getting all creeped out by spiders, I started sending her spider facts, like how many you accidentally swallow in your sleep your year and all kinds of stuff like that. She was real happy with me about it.
No, but this is a really good one. I can see it showing up on my top 10 list. We'll see if by the end of the year, we'll see how the year goes. But I think it's that good. I give it a 4.
Yeah, I give it a 4 all day. And the director, I mean,
Mhm.
on the base of this movie, they're going to be making the new Evil Dead movie, which makes sense to me because, like the last Evil Dead Rise pretty much was the same thing where they were stuck in a apartment complex almost the same way, just, with different things they're dealing with. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
The body count's real high for being just in an apartment complex, but they go
it
ahead and
is.
sprinkle some people in at the end that weren't there to begin with. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
this is a
man.
real fun one. Highly recommended if you have Shudder or AMC.
Yeah, Shutter AMC Plus. It's an original. Definitely like what Shutter's been doing with their originals lately.
Mhm.
There's one coming up. I just saw a preview for it called like the Demon Source or some shit like that. That looks really interesting. I sent you the preview for it the other day. But it looks
I
like
might have watched
Shutter's going to have a really good year. Some of the stuff they're putting up, and Joe Bob's been killing as usual. So yeah, man, I'm really loving
Yeah,
what Shutter's doing right now.
always. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Shudder and Tubi. Sponsor us. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. You got anything else? What else is up?
That's it, man. Anything else
Yeah,
you want to hit on with Infested?
not really. I think we basically covered it. It was fucking good. Acting good, all on point.
Cool. Well, with that being said, go ahead, watch something gross, watch something sleazy, and we'll be back with you next week. Got anything else to say, Kelly?
Yeah, have a good night. Stay vile.